Hello everyone, my name is LokaCola and welcome to this channel update, which has been long overdue to say the least. Definitely should have done something like this a few weeks back, definitely sometime last month, and ideally I would have also liked to do a like a big year in review type looking back thing, while also looking forward to the future and what to expect. But as with most things in life, it never really comes to plan um, or fruition, uh, whatever those plans are. And speaking of that, I suppose like there's really no need to just dally about. So I'm just gonna get straight to the point, and hopefully this will be a fairly short channel update. But yeah, to kind of jump straight into things, we need to talk Weekend at Loka's. I uh, have had issues for the last couple of months, and it's frustrating as hell. You probably like if you're following the channel closely, you are aware that I've had issues um, with streaming specifically, and it's really all due to whatever has happened with my internet situation. Like, ever since we switched out and got a new router, it's been not great. um, like it flat out uh, didn't really work. Or well, technically it did work, and technically it still works. It's just that it's way more prone to causing issues, and sometimes I can notice when those issues happen and see, oh, for whatever reason, the connection has completely failed, so the stream has kind of ended by itself. Okay, that's fine. That's one thing if I notice when it happens, but there's been a number of occasions where I have not noticed that. So I have gone on for hours and streaming and or thinking I've been streaming, and then I turn everything off and I look at YouTube and there's like just a few minutes remaining that's got saved. Like 3 minutes was when it happened the first time, and then there's been between 15 minutes to an hour, and again those have been when I've noticed it sometimes, and then I can just start the stream over again. So that's one thing. It's annoying, but I can deal with that. But when the system isn't actually telling me when the stream has kind of died by itself, and especially considering how often it happens, I, I just don't feel comfortable streaming. That's really the crust of this situation, and it has made me think about what to do with weekend locus. Because now there isn't just the whole, oh, the stream dies randomly. It's also that I have massive lag spikes on my end, which I'm sure affects the quality in some way. For the viewing experience, it sure as hell uh, messes with the gameplay experience. And from what I can tell, it's not great when I'm not streaming, but it's seemingly even worse when I'm streaming. Like, whatever's going on with the internet, it's just not. It just can't do that. It barely can play games. Sometimes it can barely stream like HBO and Netflix series. Like it's kind of at the point where I don't know what to do, because it's completely out of my hands. But that brings me to, okay, what should I do about Weekend at Locust? Because I can't just sit there and complain. I need to do something, and unfortunately, there isn't really anything I can do. I have been thinking about. I've been thinking about a number of ideas. Like, for instance, just go like, and I'm not gonna go through all those ideas because I'm not gonna do any of them. But one idea I kind of considered was going back to the old video format for Weekend at Loka's, which would help with the streaming situation. But the thing is, as I said, these internet issues are constant and unpredictable. And that's really the heart of the issue. If it was somewhat predictable, I could maybe work around it somehow. But the fact that it's completely unpredictable and also fairly consistent at the same time, it's weird to say those two words in the same sentence, but believe me, that's how it is. Doing video format wouldn't really work because let's say I would play Modern Warfare 2 and it would just lag constantly and be completely unplayable on 2 days, like Saturday and Sunday. That's a whole recording. That's an entire weekend's worth of recording sessions that just can't happen. Um, so really, the issue wouldn't be fixed. Well, it would be somewhat fixed, but it would still be in this incredibly clunky way, whilst also making me have to put in more effort with that. And I realize that sounds a bit like I'm lazy, and to be fair, I am incredibly lazy, which is partly why I tend to put off these channel update things even when I absolutely need to. But I just don't think the effort would be worth it, and especially not when I have such limited time on my hands. Um, since I am working full time as a teacher, and it can be long hours some days, most of the days in fact, and incredibly taxing. Uh, so I really don't want to have to go back to. I mean, like the whole reason I decided to go uh, to streaming with Weekend at Loka's was because I was getting burnout from making videos. And that was back when I was a student and arguably had more time on my hands. At least I could, you know, kind of, like yes, studying, like there's lots and lots of times, lots and lots of time you have to dedicate to that. But I mean, it's still different than working a 9 to 5 job. Um, it's more flexible hours, so to say. So that's one thing. And if I was getting burnout from making Weekend at Loka's plus regular videos back then, I'm sure I would feel like that, especially considering I've had recent, uh, not full-on burnouts, but I've definitely starting to notice some symptoms of that, especially when I was for the last couple of months trying to make sure there was almost daily videos even while working. um, so yeah, that's why I don't really know what to do with Weekend at Locust for now. So for the time being, unless there is definitely something that says nope, this can't be fixed, just deal with this. I'm gonna see if this can be fixed after all. So that's why I'm gonna take Weekend at Loka's and put it on ice for now. Um, Weekend at Loka's on ice, or Loka on ice, whatever. um, and see if this thing with the internet can't be fixed or resolved in any way. I'm gonna have to uh, decide what to do about it then. But for now, I'm just gonna see if it can be fixed, take off streaming from my scheduling as of now, and unless there's like, oh, it actually seems to be stable now, I can just randomly throw in something. But I am gonna focus more on the videos instead. uh, especially since I have more limited time, so I can't really uh, make daily videos, which is also what was cause about to cause a burnout. um, which is why I'm like at minimum one video every week, but my goal is to have 2 videos every week at the very least, released on Mondays and Wednesdays. Still kind of following the old schedule. Um, and that's really where I'm at right now. Um, and I don't want to get too much into details, but there are some things that is probably worth bringing up. Um, uh, Especially since I've had, like prior to streaming issues, I had video issues, which you might remember, where I did not have a computer, so I've just been collecting all this footage, but haven't had any chance to edit a lot of those, which is why a lot of the video series last year had to kind of be somewhat outdated, although that doesn't seem to have hurt things from what I can tell. So that's good. Um, and as of right now, the only series I'm really behind with is 2042, where I'm still on the first season of content, and it wasn't that long ago I actually got to it. And we're at the end of season 3 in the game, so yeah, still got ways to go, which is also why I am gonna put a big focus on the 2042 videos. So uh, assuming I get 2 videos up every week, one of them is most likely 99% of the time is gonna be a 2042 video. Exceptions will apply, of course, but generally speaking, you can expect a 2042 video every week. Um, but other than that, I am pretty much up to date with most, at least in terms of content updates and events and whatnot. Uh, well, I suppose Siege might be the only that's kind of in the middle where I have kind of um, been up to date with some of the events. Uh, Not necessarily the content, but I think that's a different thing regardless. Um, but yeah, 2042 is really the only one series where it's still far behind. Um, Although it's worth mentioning that the Modern Warfare 2 videos are kind of getting to that point as well. It's not quite as uh, it's not too far behind, but it is lagging a little bit behind. And especially if we include the Warzone 2 things into the mix, which yeah, that might actually be worth bringing up actually with how I plan to do with Warzone 2 videos. It is coming. It's coming relatively soon. Um, and I've been thinking a lot about whether it should be its own separate series or if it just be part of the Modern Warfare 2 series. And I've gone back and forth numerous times. And what I finally ended up deciding is to keep Warzone 2 as a separate series, simply because now that we've had Warzone 1 and see how it all have gone, I think it's fair to assume that we're gonna see some of the same things happening with Warzone 2, um, with, and with hopefully some of the lessons learned that needed to be learned. But for all intents and purposes, I think Warzone 2 is just gonna be what Warzone 1 ended up being, which is a very strange way of phrasing it, but never mind. So that's why there haven't been any Modern Warfare 2 Warzone 2 videos. Getting things mixed up. Thanks, Activision. Um, so it is coming soon, but not quite yet. Because unlike the Modern Warfare videos, where the original plan was to have a proper finale for Modern Warfare 19 before jumping into Modern Warfare 2, but because things ended up the way they ended up, that just didn't happen. But I want to do that for Warzone at least. So the plan is actually, because now I have used up almost all of my Warzone footage. I still have a couple of left, but not really anything video worthy for now. So I'm gonna save those for later, since I am gonna have to keep Warzone 1 or Warzone Caldera, as it's called now. Keep it part of the COD's 20th anniversary in some way. But I've for all intents and purposes, the Warzone video series is finished. It ended up being 49 episodes, and that's like, only one away from 50. Well, I am making a 50th episode, since we got the third anniversary of the original Warzone coming up, and I thought that, with all this nonsense about Caldera being done and dusted, which is pretty much what the last episode of Warzone ended up being like. Yeah, Caldera's finally gone. Although it's still there, but you know what I mean. So I thought that it would be a nice way to kind of bookend the Warzone series with a lot of the highlights from throughout the Warzone series, focusing on Verdansk, which is again also kind of a nice way to bookend the Warzone series, since the last two episodes ended up being very centric on Caldera and Rebirth Island. So I think having a video dedicated to Verdansk, specifically the best of Verdansk, is again nice way to bookend it. Decent way to celebrate the third anniversary of the original Warzone, and then right after that, the Warzone 2 series is gonna start. So that is the plan for everything Warzone related. Um, as I said, 2042 videos, gonna be a lot of those. This week it's the 30th episode, and that is gonna be similar to the 20th episode, all out bugs and shenanigans, which is something I'm gonna probably do every 10th episode. Maybe not every time, but there's definitely a all out shenanigans to Electric Boogaloo coming. There is also gonna be a Battlefront 2 video up this month, since the original plan at the last year, when the 5th anniversary for Battlefront 2 came up, the original plan was to have 5 videos coming out relatively back to back. That didn't quite happen. So, which is also why I'm putting up or am gonna put up a Battlefront 2 video later this month, specifically on the 22nd, because that was the date of the first Only in Battlefront 2 episode. Although it's not quite hitting the 5th anniversary of that series, because it started in 2019, which is a bit later than I remembered, but then again, I did get the game quite late, or a bit later. It wasn't. I think it was within the 6-month period. Oh, whatever. But that is gonna come up soon. And speaking of, well, not quite anniversaries, but and going back to Siege for a bit, you may have noticed that the numbers for the recent episodes have been kind of off, where I haven't done a full-on episode 50 yet. I will stand on like 49.5, 49.69, 420, and 49.8 because I have a very specific idea for episode 50, and I realized that, you know, with the Siege Invitational being this month, I'm sure there's gonna be the Siege Olympics, maybe? I have no clue. But I figured that, you know, now's probably a good time to get that video done, hopefully. If not, I'm gonna have to gather some more footage. All I'm gonna say is that it's all centered around our favorite operator turned to a divine figure. That's all I'm gonna say. um, but yeah, that's I'm not gonna do like a full on. Oh, here's where every video series is standing because I again primary focus on 2042 since I'm far behind on that, as well as Modern Warfare 2. If not every week, then at least as often as possible, since it is the current thing and everything. Um, Battlefront 2 video coming up this month later. Episode 50 of Siege will hopefully be this month as well. And then next month is going to be a whole shebang of Warzone with final look back at Verdansk and starting up Warzone 2 series. And yeah, I have so many different ideas right now, especially in regards to COD's 20th anniversary. As well as some other stuff. But I'm not gonna go into too much detail right now, since well, I've already talked for about 20 minutes. So, and I was thinking about keeping this short. But yeah, to kind of just summarize, Weekend at Locust is on ice for now. I'm gonna see if this internet situation can be resolved in any way. If not, I'm gonna have to think of something else. Uh, Videos will still continue as usual with at least one video a week, but my goal is to at least have 2 videos every week, with the focus being on 2042 and Modern Warfare 2. And yeah, that's really all I have to do to say for now. Um, and now's typically when I do the like rate, comment, subscribe, all that great stuff. But that's kind of weird to do in a channel update. But yeah, if there's anything, uh, you know, like if 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 you do want to leave a comment with suggestion or whatever, I'm always all ears for any suggestions of anything or requests. I'm really blanking out now. So yeah, that's really all for today. Oh yeah, next week is of course the week of Valentine's Day, and there's definitely gonna be content surrounding that, primarily COD, um, since it is somehow I'm gonna tie it to COD's 20th anniversary. It may seem odd, but and it is a bit of a stretch, admittedly, but that's what the plan is. Of course, we'll see what ends up actually happening, but I guess that's something to look forward to. Anyway, enough rambling. Hope you have a good day. I don't know what I'm gonna do actually. Maybe make content.